Hello everyone and welcome to another video. So for today's video I'm going to be doing a spoiler filled review of the recent Doctor Who Christmas special, Joy to the World. Now I should say that this video is unscripted, so it might come across as a bit more rambling in places compared to some of my previous reviews, so I do apologise if that's like a bit of an issue for some of you, but yeah, hopefully it won't be too bad anyway. So, what did I make of the episode itself? Well, I thought it was okay. I thought it was like a decent and enjoyable enough romp, basically. But I didn't like it much when I first watched it. I felt like it was a real step down compared to the previous Christmas special, The Church on Ruby Road. And yeah, I just felt like that special kind of worked a lot better with kind of getting the right balance between being like a festive romp and yet still kind of being a good episode of Doctor Who. I feel like with Joy to the World, it just didn't quite do it in, as good as The Church on Ruby Road did, but it was still, as I say, like enjoyable. And I particularly enjoyed the scenes with Anita, I think that's her name, and her kind of chemistry and bond with the Doctor when he gets stuck on Earth for over a year. I felt like that was some really lovely stuff, and I can totally get why they, as Stephen Moffat said in the Unleashed episode afterwards, that like originally Anita's role in the special wasn't going to be all that much, but then they were just that impressed with the actress that they got to play her that they just kept giving her more and more material to work with. I can totally see why they did that, because yeah, it makes some great material. They're both really good at like playing it, and yeah, it's just great stuff. It's definitely the highlight, I think, of the episode. But I think the problem with it is that it should really have been its own episode. I think the fact that it's trying to the special as it is kind of comes across like it's not too sure what it wants to be in the final thing. Like it tricks you into thinking it's going to establish it's going to be solely about the Starseed plot and Joy and everything, and then obviously the Anita stuff comes into it instead for a while. And it just kind of feels like maybe they should have just stuck with one or the other, essentially. And maybe the Anita stuff should have been its own episode in this upcoming season, season 2 or series 15, rather than like part of this Christmas special. And yeah, especially when you get someone like Nicola Coughlan in to play Joy, like Nicola Coughlan, who has been in some of the most popular and I think potentially even award-winning stuff of the past few years with like Derry Girls and Bridgerton. I think when you get someone of her calibre in, then you really need to kind of, give her some pretty good material to work with, and I don't really feel like she's given loads of stuff to work with, or at least not as much as she could have been if the episode had solely been about her character and the stuff going on with the Starseed. Obviously there's still some character development going on with Joy. Like we find out that she's really sad about how she had to say goodbye to her mum like on a video call during COVID, and she couldn't actually go and visit her in person, and then the whole kind of like political Partygate stuff that happened afterwards and how angry it made her. I think that makes her quite relatable, I think, to some people, but I just feel like there was more that could have been said, I think, in terms of her character and in terms of like establishing her, because it seemed anyway in terms of the promotional material leading into this special that Nicola Coughlan was supposed to be the companion for this special, when it kind of feels like it's more case of like there is no set companion kind of character in this special. Like it alternates between a few different characters. So Joy's one of them, Anita's another for some of it, and then obviously you've got Trev as well. Like early on in the episode, he kind of fulfills that companion function a bit as well, for a few minutes anyway. Yeah, it's just a bit kind of like strange, because it feels like each of those characters in their own right would have made for really good, like, solid companions, or even like temporary companions, like one-offs. But the fact that, you know, it's kind of just alternating between the three of them, it doesn't really give you enough time with any of them, I think. And it feels like the Anita stuff in particular, like, it just feels like the Doctor just kind of like leaves her, just kind of like, yeah, we know that he's got to leave her at some point because of the whole bootstrap paradox thing going on. Which obviously, you know, we should expect that in a Stephen Moffat script, you know, for things to get a bit timey-wimey. But I don't know, it just feels like they could have resolved her stuff with the Doctor a lot better. I know we kind of get that in terms of he then gets her position working in the Time Hotel, which kind of feels nice, kind of sweet, but I don't know, I just kind of was expecting more, I think, and would have liked more, kind of a better, like more of a resolution to that, I think, would have been good. But as it is, you know, it's fine, it's fair enough, really. The Starseed stuff itself, I think, is fine, but it feels a bit bland, I think, in places. Like, maybe it would have struggled, actually, to have been just the only storyline going on in this episode. So maybe that's why they've kind of like, maybe that's why Stephen Moffat had a few other things going on at the same time in this episode. But yeah, it's fine. I don't mind the whole, I mean, I'm not really religious myself, but I don't mind the fact that, like, the Starseed turns out to be the Star of Bethlehem. I'm sure that might annoy some extremely religious people, but myself, I don't really mind it personally. I think it's a nice little kind of like, not twist, but just a nice little like thing, basically, to just for the episode to just kind of like hint at or say at the end of it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to give this episode a 6 or 6.5 out of 10. Like, it was above average, definitely, and I feel like certainly the stuff going on with the Doctor and Anita helped to get it to that point. I think if it hadn't been for that, then maybe maybe I would rank this episode a bit lower down and give it a lower score. But yeah, I think it's enjoyable enough. Like, it's the type of episodes that I think you can just stick on and have it playing in the background whilst you get on with doing something else. Like, it feels fine with that. So, you know, and I'm sure probably plenty of people were doing that when it aired on Christmas Day, you know, like getting on with doing the washing up after Christmas dinner or whatever. So yeah, I feel like in terms of that, it does a good job, but there's been better Christmas specials that have come before it, I think. But then again, I suppose the Christmas specials are never really like, well, some of them can be pretty good and potentially among the very best that Doctor Who has ever had, but then in terms of episodes, but then, you know, some of the others are just pretty mediocre or just meh kind of episodes, and I feel like Joy to the World is kind of leaning, yeah, kind of towards that mediocre aspect. Like, it's still a bit above that, but yeah, it could have been a lot better, I think, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my review. As I said earlier, you know, I'm really sorry that I didn't come up with a script for this video. I thought it would be better to just give you all like my raw thoughts on the episode instead of just writing a script out for it. But yeah, if it was an issue for some of you, then I really do apologise. But yeah, thanks very much for watching anyway, and please don't forget to press that subscribe button below, as well as press the bell icon at the side of it, so that you'll stay notified of when all my new videos come out. And I shall see you all in another video. So until next time, bye bye!